While we're getting this arena set up, I will once again go through the introductions for those of you who may be joining us late. My name is Filibuster Fox, and today I'm joined by Sean Android Buell.
How's it going, everyone? If you're just joining us, welcome. We are in a 16-team open bracket for Guild Wars 2. This is a weekly tournament admin by Soac Gaming, as cast by Tower Dive TV.
Arena 2 just disappeared. Let me look into that. Arena 2 is arena.
All these arenas are just dying.
Okay, what's going on here? Technical difficulties. Remember, arenas are in beta technically, so...
Alright, and finally, our arena is all reset and we are good to go.
Alright. Let me rejoin the arena then. Arena 2 is on its own, I think. Okay, there we go. Forest of Niflhel. Alright, so going right back over to this. So the next match will once again be on Forest of Niflhel. And this is the first match that we saw, or the first map that we saw. Once again, we'll go ahead and play a video on this while we wait for these teams to get in here, so we have a chance to go over their builds as well. So I'm going to go quick over here to the video, and if we'll quiet for a moment.
Hello and welcome to the Forest of Niflhel. In structured PvP, the game mode is Conquest. In Conquest, there are 3 capture points and they grant 1 point every 2 seconds. Kills grant 5 points and the first team to acquire 500 points is victorious. The Forest of Niflhel is one of the oldest SPVP maps, and it's a part of the competitive map rotation. Each map has its own mechanics in order to keep the format interesting. On this map, we have 2 boss mobs, Spawnier and Chieftain Udaheim. The bosses both grant 25 points when slain and a buff that grants a bonus 50 of every stat to the team that secures it. The bosses respawn after 3 minutes when they're killed, so it's important to keep those timers. Some common terminology you'll hear when talking about control points on every map are center, close point, and far point. On this map, for example, you can see that Henge is immediately within reach of blue team's spawn, and as such is blue team's close point and red team's far point. Similarly, the mine is red team's close point and blue team's far point. The keep is roughly equal distance between both teams and as such is center point. Time's up! We're heading into the next match. Get ready for some action.
Then, so that is that video. Let me switch back to this view here. Let me fix my titles as well. Thank you for letting me know me. So, Sean, last time we saw this map, we saw the red team take a good advantage here, and of course that was a completely different set of teams here. What is really the key to winning this map?
There's really not one specific key. For all the Guild Wars maps, it's really point control. I mean, controlling 2 points is going to win you the game if you're able to hold them long enough. With this, you see a lot of people really try and do the keep as well as, home point, and maybe get the buffs, get the 25 extra points. But like I said, you can see other stuff. You can see the side point, holding if you're able to hold Henge and mine. But yeah, typically what we see is the home point as well as keep.
So it looks like we've got our red team in already, and they're rearing and ready to go. Let's go ahead and go through their builds while the blue team gets set up. We'll start with Izurel. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that looks about right.
All right, we'll go with Izurel. And he's got 6 runes of the Ogre, Dagger, and Valkyrie's Amulet with Berserker Jewel.
Absolutely. So he is running Ogre. He's got actual Battle and Fire. So on his weapon sigils right there. So a little bit of a normal build. He is running like Scepter Dagger, so he's going to be doing the damage with Arcane as well as Mistform and Lightning Flash. So really good damage build on the Elementalists.
All right, on to Chris the Holy. We've got 6 runes of the Soldier, and he's got a long sword with nothing in the... Or, sorry, it's a great sword. I lied. It's just a name difference there. Scepter, shield in the second set, and cleric jewel... cleric with the soldier's jewel. Man, I cannot speak for this guy. Alright, so we've got a cleric amulet with the soldier's jewel, 6 runes of the soldier, and of course a great sword, and scepter, shield. What do you think about that build?
Again, another greatsword guardian. This is very interesting. Haven't really been seeing him often until today, but he is at least running that cleric's amulet, so he will have all that healing as well. Still running 0, 0, 10, 30, 30 with pure voice. Allies affected by shots convert one condition to a boon. So this is going to be that condition clearing guardian that we're normally seeing. He's not going to have like a hammer for debunkering, which is what we see a lot in North America, but he's going to be putting out a little extra damage with that greatsword.
Alright, moving on to Miss Betsy Ross, the sewer of the flag of the United States. Wait, no, was that? Who did that? Who's Betsy Ross? Anyways, we've got 5 of the 6 runes as Dolyak, and and there we go. The one leftover rune is the Mesmer rune. It's got a staff and sword, it looks like, as well as a soldier's amulet with a soldier's jewel.
And he is running 0, 0, 30, 20, 20. This is actually a little bit different than anything I've ever seen before. He's running Illusion of Life with a Null Field and Signet of Inspiration. So it's almost like a support Mesmer build. This is going to be really interesting to see, actually.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out for Miss Betsy Ross. And then we have Sparther with 6 runes of the earth, a great sword, a sword dagger in the offhands, and of course Shaman's Jewel with Shaman's Amulet, or vice versa as it may be.
So yeah, he's running the earth. He's gonna have that toughness, you know, back to the Shaman's Amulet, so we will be seeing the condition damage as well as, you know, the healing that we're normally seeing with Rangers. He's running 0, 0, 30, 10, 30, so pretty normal for like a Beastmaster. Not too much out of the difference. He is running Sikkim as well as Rampage as one though, so he is going to be able to do quite a lot of damage with his pet, as well as giving him some pretty good boons as well.
Alright, and the last on the red team, but certainly not least, we have Dark Cool with 4 runes of the monk and 2 runes of water. He has Dagger, and of course, Soldier's Amulet with the Cleric's Jewel.
And he will be running 0, 0, 10, 30, 30. So he is actually going to be taking that 10 into Earth Magic, so he can get that Armor of Earth when health reaches 50%. He is running triple cantrips as well as Tornado, so he will be fairly tanky right there, doing some pretty good support and having a little bit of node control with Tornado as well. So the double LE comp is actually looking pretty strong for this team right now.
Alright, so moving on to the blue team, who is currently missing one and should hopefully... there they are. Polquito is here with 6 runes of the Ogre, a rifle here, and Berserker's Amulet with a Berserker's Jewel. Also is running, let's see, this is 0, 20, 10, 10, 30.
And that's actually a really old build. This is almost like the 100 nades build, a little bit. You're seeing like the static discharge, so he's going to have really high single target damage. He will have a little bit of AoE in there. But this build was extremely popular when the game came out. I played it a lot, so I'm actually pretty excited to see this come into play right now.
Right, moving on to Put Date on My Back. Put date on my back.
Put the team on my back.
Ah, put the team on my back. That makes more sense. Okay. Alright, well, let's have a look at Put the Team on My Back's build. We've got 6 runes of divinity. We have a scepter dagger set up with a Valkyrie's Amulet with Berserker Jewel.
So he's going to be doing a lot of damage. He's running 0, 20, 0, 20, 30 with the double arcane. So the damage is going to be really high coming out of him.
All right, moving right on to Melina Sarai, we have 6 runes of the undead, a short bow, and a sword torch setup with a rabbit amulet with a rabbit jewel.
So running almost like a hybrid trap build. So he's running 20-20-30-0-0. It's going to have a little higher burst damage as well as condition damage in there as well.
All right. On to Horizon Skyfire, we have 6 runes of divinity, a unupgraded staff, and a Valkyrie amulet with Berserker jewel.
Yeah, and if he's probably going to switch from staff, maybe the dagger, but he's running 10 and fire, so 10-0-0-30-30. So going for that extra damage, something we don't see too often.
A lot of damage looks like coming from this blue team. As we move on to the Darkitect, I love that name. He's got 6 runes of the soldier, hammer, and scepter focus with a cleric's amulet with cleric jewel.
And running 0-0-10-30-30, you know, that guardian build that we've been seeing a lot of lately, with the hammer for debunkering as well.
All right, so let me just let them know that we're ready. And this is going to be the first match of the best of 3 between QQ and BZNZ. I remember, not sure if Sirius is BZNZ. It's Murder Inc., something like that for the QQ. What was their team name? Oh, jeez.
It's Murder Inc. versus not sure.
Yeah,
Sirius
Murda Inc. versus Not Sure If Sirius. Not Sure If Sirius in the blue and Murder Inc. in the red. If you can let them know, I don't see my map chat at all, so I'm not sure if they actually heard me say I was ready. I had to send one of them a tell.
Yeah, they definitely saw it. We're just waiting for them to already up.
Okay. Oh, I guess I just don't have map chat on here. There we go. Now I can see it. Huzzah. Okay, so for those of you who... did we already play the video? Yeah, we already played the video for this. So just to recap the video, the close point for the blue team is the henge, the center point is the keep, and the far point for the blue team, or the close point for the red, is the mine here. These 3 points are what provides the majority of the action in the game, along with Svanir and Chieftain buffs, which can be gained for 25 points, as well as a 50 to all stat boost for everyone on your team if you get the kill on it. Alright, as we wait for these teams to ready up, what do you think is going to happen when these teams meet up into fights, Android?
Well, they are, you know, running a little bit different builds on red team, so I'm excited. They do have the Greatsword Guardian as well as the support Mesmer. So they're going to be some interesting fights right here. And the match is about to start, so we'll actually be able to see for ourselves what's about to happen.
So, once again, this is the first match of a best of 3 between Murder Inc. and Not Sure If Sirius. There's 2 matches to go potentially in this after this match, but we will see what happens in this first match as the teams go out into their splits. We've got, let's see, Guardian going over to the mine, 2 for the red team going over to Svanir, 2 going to the keep, 2 going for the keep for either team. We've got an Elementalist from the blue team going over to the mine, and an Engineer going for Chieftain, while one of the blue team takes the henge.
And we actually are seeing both teams go for their buffs first, something we don't see too often. Usually they do go for the node control first and then the buff second. But this is going to give both teams like that early extra umph, as well as you know, a little bit of a point bonus right there in the beginning.
So over at the mine we have Horizon Skyfire against Chris the Holy, fighting for the mine off to the side, but here comes Sparther to make Horizon Skyfire have a terrible time here at the mine. Meanwhile, in the mid, we've got Dark Cool, Miss Betsy Ross, and Israel against the Darkitect here, trying to hold off 1v3 here, but here comes, put the team on my back to help out the Darkitect as they fight 2-on-3 for the center point, as the rest of their team continues to fight elsewhere. Israel running into a lot of trouble here as they get very low, but put the team on my back is actually down and trying to be revived by the Darkitect, but we'll see if they're going to get that off before the stop. They do. Up comes put the team on my back, and here comes help for the blue team. We've got Paquito here now to help turn the tide of this fight here as he sits back and snipes into the fight, and puts down some decent damage with those grenades, but not a whole lot of damage going down either way, as this middle fight for the keep is relatively uncontested. Mine is nice and secured for the red team and Henge for the blue, but we still have a bit of action going. Horizon Skyfire continuing to pressure Chris the Holy for this mine.
And they're actually doing really good right here in red, red's doing really good right here in mid. They do have a little bit of a numbers advantage here, and their damage output's kind of coming out a little faster. So if it keeps going this way, it might not though.
Well,
no, red team is doing damage right there.
There it goes. They did lose one of their members for this fight here, but blue is still holding on here. They're keeping that sustain up to continue to push onto this point. They've got damage of themselves that they can bring to this fight. It looks like Dark Cool is in a lot of trouble as he's forced away from the point. Two from the blue team chasing him down, leaving the point alone. Has put the team on my back, and Paquito chase him off here. Paquito off somewhere else, but Horizon Skyfire, it looks like he's going down finally to Chris the Holy in the point, having to misform away there, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. He's just delaying the inevitable there as these teams continue to fight for the center point. Henge completely ignored here. We've got Melina Sarai here just sitting bored, hoping that someone comes to fight this point he's defending. But no, he's just enjoying himself and watching the mini-map fun go, as these teams are desperately trying to take this midpoint from each other, and just no real progress here.
And yet, the double Ellie's from both teams are just putting out an insane amount of kills. I mean, this mid fight has been going on for so long because the sustain with having, you know, a Guardian as well as two Elementalists is just insane.
Yeah, well, this is keeping the match very close. The blue team has about a 20-point lead, but that is all. For the most part, they're tied up in points. They each have one location under their control, and ooh, a lot of trouble going in. The Dark Architect is taken down there, and is the stomp gonna succeed? Yes, down goes the Dark Architect, pushing the advantage back towards the favor of the red team as they lose a lot of their tankiness there with the Dark Architect down, and that's gonna be a nice advantage as the Chieftain and Svanir have respawned now and are now available. Looks like we've already got Melina Sarai going for the Chieftain here off in the side, which is a nice quick pickup since they weren't contesting the Henge. He's just there to take Chieftain, and Paquito now the one in trouble as he's got help around him, but is it going to be enough to prevent the stomp? No! Paquito goes down, and red team is continuing to take the advantage towards this midpoint. Now 3-on-1 here against Put the Team on My Back, trying his best to stay alive here, but it's not going to go very well in a 3-on-1 situation. He's down now. They're going to try and finish him off here. In come the stomps, and up he goes into the mist form, trying to stay alive, but it's once again just delaying the inevitable here as the repeat stomps come. It looks like Dark Cool picks up the stomp as Dark Architect comes here, but not quick enough to prevent the red team from picking up that center point, giving them a 2-to-1 point advantage, but mine is contested once again. Horizon Skyfire doing his best to fight Chris the Holy over there to at least uncontested here, but red team is solidly holding on to the center point for the moment here as the Dark Architect was taken down. Henge still completely uncontested, leaving just Melina Sarai not really doing much of anything. With how little attention is being paid attention to this point, do you think Melina Sarai should be staying there or should be going to help the midpoint out a little?
I don't, with the midpoint, this is the thing. Look how long that fight took. If that goes on again, I mean, red team has the point. They're going to be fighting for another couple minutes while red team's just racking up points. So, I don't know. We're probably going to see more people just all here on mid. Maybe blue team might try and split the side points because they know they can't win. Or they might be able to win a long drawn-out fight, but it's just going to take a long time. And by that time, they actually did get the neutralization on mid. So
very nice. The Dark Architect doing a good job of forcing the points there. Horizon Skyfire was brought down by a large group that went down to the mine to contest that. Red kind of left the keep alone here to go fight at the mine against the two from the blue team who were fighting that. But that allowed this point to get neutralized, and that puts my team on my back and the Dark Architect both fighting for this point against Betsy Ross and Dark Cool, with a little bit of help in the distance from, not Sparther, Serial and Sparther both on their way, but they're both going to make this a 4v2 here in the middle here. Henge still uncontested, poor Melina Sarai not getting to play much this match, but the rest of the team fighting desperately and extendedly for the center point. Red team does have about a 30-point advantage here, but if they cannot take this midpoint, this leaves the blue team solidly in this match. The longer they draw this out, they're fine, as long as they try and pick up these Chieftain and maybe continue pressuring the mine. Mine is now uncontested. That's fantastic for the blue team as they're going to start to make up that point difference here. Although they do need to quickly get back on the keep. Well, they lost the keep, but they did manage to lose the Dark Architect there. They need to try and neutralize this to keep that advantage, but there's 25 points behind still. And unless they make something happen, they're going to continue to be so.
And Red Team does need to be a little careful. They can't let them get that neutralization on mid again. That was just a little bit of an unnecessary play. I mean, they were right there and they just weren't paying attention. Blue was able to come up and take it from them. If they're able to keep this point as well as mine, you know, Red Team is going to have a pretty solid victory. But Blue Team is trying really hard to get the side points under control. Maybe giving up a little bit right now is because of a numbers advantage there on mine.
And down goes put a team on back, who's going to misform away for a bit of a delay there to try and stall this red team in the middle here. But Svanir and Chieftain are both back up, being taken by their respective teams. I was hoping to see Blue Team maybe try for Svanir, but they're not going to have the resources to. However, the mine is being fought 1v1 there. Well, looks like not anymore, actually. But Henge still completely uncontested this entire match. Red Team isn't even bothering to go there. They're putting all of their eggs into the keep in the mine, and of course their own Svanir. But, I mean, they're still maintaining this 50-point lead now by holding the 2 points to 1. Blue Team split pushing on the mines, not doing enough, and they're not able to neutralize this key point as Paquito is being fought here and goes for the stomp on Miss Betsy Ross, but Miss Betsy Ross just jumps right out of the way there, getting out of position just long enough to be revived, no problem, as the rest of Red Team comes right in and forces back the Blue Team from this keep. Major fight here is put the team on back. It comes right in with the Dark Architect, and 4v4 it looks like here for both teams as they're fighting for this point. But looks like Darkcool going down there from a lot of pressure from the damage from Melina Sarai, finally joining the team, not sitting on Henge anymore. And Darkcool just abandoned in the back. Looks like he's going to get stomped there. And down goes Darkcool, giving this nice advantage to the blue team. Miss Betsy Ross and Azrael also very low. Azrael getting stomped as well. Miss Betsy Ross is bleeding out and dead as well. Now the blue team is actually going to take the keep and swing momentum into their favor perhaps here. They're going to get the 2-to-1 point advantage, and if they can prevent that from being neutralized, they have a good chance to come back into this fight. Sparther is a lot of trouble. Not quite getting stomped, but getting bursted to prevent him from coming back up. Here comes put the team on my back, and to try... No, he's not actually going to stomp. He's going to walk away. That's fine. Sparther is still in a lot of trouble. He's just delaying the inevitable. Sparther doesn't appear to be able to get back up, and he's just stalling that respawn timer, keeping Sparther down and not respawning. Kind of a good play not to instantly go for the stomp on that isolated player. The team on back now on a rampage as the red team is putting pressure back onto the blue team, chasing them back to the keep here as they're just backing out here, going back to the fight on the point. Darkcool and Rosario just chasing down the blue team, but they are outnumbered here for the blue team at this keep, as they've basically abandoned defending the Henge since it's not being fought for anyways. Only 30 points behind now, the blue team. If they can hold on to the keep here and pick up the Chieftain and maybe fight Svanir, they've got a great chance of coming back in this, but there's only 50 points left to go, and they're trying their best to take this midpoint from the blue team.
And that's something Blue's going to have to be really careful of, is those neutral buffs. If they're too focused on mid and they come up and Red is able to steal both of them, it could be a clutch play by Red, a clutch victory. But Blue Team, if they're paying attention, the game might be theirs.
And Azrael is dead. This is giving the blue team hold on this point. They're only 7 points behind at this point. As long as they don't lose both the buffs and they continue to hold 2 of these points, they can pull out the victory from this match. An unlikely switch as their early disadvantage, but that's a great comeback they've got going. Miss Betsy Ross in a lot of trouble, probably about to die very soon here to a stomp from the Dark Architect. And down goes Miss Betsy Ross and secures the point for the blue team. They're now leading by 10 points. And the buffs are not yet respawned. If they can hold these 2 points, they're going to come away from a victory unless the red team can come. And here's the Chieftain back up. There's a player from the red team fairly nearby. Let's see if I can find who that is. It's the Darkcool going for Chieftain.
Only 1 point left.
But it's not enough. 500 points for the blue team, and they take the win. The first of this best of 3 goes to not sure if Sirius, winning by a close 22 points after an early disadvantage. They made a great job of coming back into this match.
That was a fantastic game. We just saw those really long, drawn-out fights. You know, both teams running relatively tanky. And look at some of these rank of some of these players. I mean, red team, rank 13, 16, 9. Blue team, 15, 21, 16, 14. So we are seeing, maybe these are secondary accounts or something. But yeah, a lot of newer players. That was actually very good for people that might not have been playing this game so long.
All right, that was actually a fairly impressive match, especially considering the rankings. But we're going right into Faux Fire next, so we'll go ahead and play our introductory video for you.
Team fights galore. This is the legacy of the Faux Fire. The legacy of the Faux Fire is the last of the maps in competitive rotation. On this map, the secondary objective is a guild lord that spawns for both teams. The guild lord resides in their team's respective starting zone and awards 150 points when slain. Not to be underestimated, however, the guild lord is a mighty warrior, accompanied by an entourage of 2 casters with powerful lightning abilities and 2 soldiers. In order to reach the enemy team's guild lord, you must break down one of the 2 entrances to the enemy team's keep and battle his companions whilst attempting to take his life. There are 2 different strategies that teams will often employ in Conquest. One strategy is attacking the side points in order to force teams to spread their forces thin and risk getting overwhelmed at one point, and the other is to play center and close. In general, most team compositions will either favor towards more mobility or more sustainability. Often, it can be very hard for teams to neutralize a point once it has been taken, and as such, it is vital importance to force opportunities where you can hold a point for a very long time, or where your opponent cannot hold theirs. Hope you were paying attention, soldier. Lesson's over. Battle's about to begin.
That was Demon Lasher who did the voicing for that. As we get ready to move into the second match of the best of 3, remember that Not Sure If Serious is the leading team with match 1 out of this best of 3. And of course, my name is Filibuster Fox. Joining me today is Sean Android Buell.
How's it going, guys? We are bringing you match 2 of Murder Inc. versus Serious. What is this? Not Sure If Serious.
No.
Sorry. We had the first game already. We're going to game 2. Not Sure If Serious that was able to take game 1. We're going to see if Murda Inc. can stay in this set, or if Not Sure If Serious is going to push this into 2-0.
Indeed, and for those of you who may be joining us late, this is the Tower Dive TV /SOAC weekly tournament, going to happen every Sunday, so stay tuned in the future for this. The prize pool is 150 gold, plus the glory of having won a tournament. You know, that's always a solid thing to have. Get your name out there, get a little bit of the fame for your team going, and, of course, you know, hey, gold. So we will be getting started here shortly as soon as both teams are ready. Are we seeing any changes in these lineups?
I think they are all the same. Let me double check this real quick. I think someone actually... No, they're all there. I thought someone had backed out. So they're all there. I don't see any changes. I know someone is AFK for just 1 second, and then the game will be started. This map, with the teams, I mean, we have very, very tanky teams. Whoever wins mid first is going to have a very large advantage with how long these games have been going. So the mid fight at the beginning, it's probably going to be this long drawn out fight, and hopefully we see some clutch plays. The first person that capitalizes on that is going to have a serious point lead, unless, you know, the other team decides they want to split points and go for waterfall and quarry and just kind of forget about mid for a little bit. Yeah, we're going to see some interesting stuff.
We saw a lot more action of splitting points coming from the blue team. Remember from the last match, Henge was completely uncontested pretty much the entire match, and mine was constantly contested. So if anyone's going to split points, I would expect it from this blue team. Not sure if serious, but we'll see how they end up deciding to do things. Based on that last match, it seemed like both teams were very fairly matched when it came up to the big team fights in the center. Just very, very sustained, very, very tanky, and not a whole lot of action happening. The real shift of momentum that got blue back into that match was when red really abandoned the blue point and went to all fight at the mine. That gave blue the chance to retake the point and shifted the momentum back in their favor. So hopefully we'll see no mistakes being made from either of these teams that will cause serious problems for their match, like squeaking away with a narrow loss just because leaving a point unattended for just long enough to let the other team come back from a slight deficit.
Yeah, absolutely. And this game, again, if they do go to Lord, it's going to be really weird. or not weird, I should say, but interesting, because you can heal the Lord, and with both these teams running double Ellie's, we're going to see like extremely long drawn out fights on the Lord if someone were to go contest it. So we might just be seeing like a points game here. I don't know if I would expect too much Lord play, but I don't know. Blue team does have Paquito, who's running that very high single target damage with the static discharge rifle build on his engineer. But I think we're going to see a lot of big team fights going into this game. That's kind of what I'm expecting right there. 4v4 right there in the beginning with one splitting off. But I don't know, maybe I'll be surprised.
Well, and here we go once again. My name is Filibuster Fox, and today I'm joined by Sean Buell, Android, and Android is his... whatever. But this is the Tower Dive TV / SOAC weekly tournament. This is match 6 with Murda Inc. versus... not sure if serious. And here we go with the splits. This is the second of the best of 2. Not sure if serious won the first. And we've got a Ranger going down to the quarry for the red team. 2 going for the waterfall and 2 going for the graveyard. Similar setup for the blue team as 1 goes to the quarry, 2 go to the graveyard, and 2 go to the waterfall as well. Not quite the mass in the center point we might have expected, but 2 for each team going to the waterfall. An interesting opening.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a little bit of smaller skirmishes, which are going to be a lot more interesting with these like pretty tanky teams. Waterfall and Graveyard are going to be some interesting fights. So whoever wins those is going to be at a pretty big advantage early on in this game.
Well, early on in this Graveyard fight, it looks like Miss Betsy Ross is running into more damage than they are dealing out. The Dark Deck looks to be in perfect condition, along with Put the Team on My Back. And Miss Betsy Ross and Darkcool having trouble 2v2ing them right here. Betsy Ross goes down, and they're going to go for a quick stomp. And not quite getting it, but that's still... Miss Betsy Ross is down. Darkcool doing his best to try and keep them off of her, but it's not going to work for very long. The stomp goes down, and now it's a 2v1 here at the midpoint. Both teams taking their individual points. Red has the quarry, blue has the waterfall, and Darkcool in a lot of trouble as it's 2v1 here for the center point. Red's going to have to get some help here pretty soon here. Chris the Holy in a lot of trouble here off on his own. Looks like Red team is not getting the best out of these early fights, having lost that 2v2 up at the waterfall and having a lot of trouble in this graveyard fight as Darkcool is still very much alone against 3 from the blue team.
Yeah, absolutely. Blue did fantastic there. They had a great fight there at Waterfall. They had a great fight in Graveyard. Darkcool's been alive for an extremely long time. Enough for his team to get back there in the fight. They might be able to get him back up right here. I mean, he was 2v1ing there for like a solid 40 seconds. If Blue team was able to get that kill, they would have a massive lead right now.
Yeah, fortunately for the red team, Darkcool did not go down. Blue team does have about a 15-point advantage already, but now the red team can contest this point properly. Oh, Darkcool goes down once again. He's going to be in trouble here. Miss Betsy Ross and Israel are both here to help get him back up. That misform not quite doing much to save him. Now Israel will take a lot of damage trying to revive him. Now they're both down. Miss Betsy Ross is the only hope left for this red team here as the Darkcool gets stomped by the blue team. Let's go right over to the mine real quick, see what's going on there. We've got Horizon Starfire against Sparther, but Miss Betsy Ross and Israel in a lot of trouble in this midpoint. And it looks like Israel is down and Miss Betsy Ross is about to go down to a stomp right there, and down she goes, and that's going to give the midpoint to blue team. No red team in a position to contest it. Meanwhile, up at the waterfall, we have Chris the Holy against Sarai and Paquito, 2v1ing here. Holy trying to hold this point neutralized, keep the blue team from getting a major advantage here, but he's 2v1 and he's taking a lot of damage. It's going to be a tough fight for him. Down in the corner, still a bit of a fight here between Skyfire and Sparther. They're both just kind of standing up and trying their best to burst each other down and mainly sustaining, but this is going to be red team holding on to this point fairly well for a bit of time here unless some help comes. Chris the Holy did go down here. Darkcool is here to help contest this waterfall point, but Paquito is going for the smash and he gets it. Chris the Holy is down. At least Darkcool 2v1 against Sarai and Paquito as he tries to fight for this. Here comes Zuriel to try and fight this, but hey, the center point is not really being contested heavily. Now 2 from the blue team fighting down at the mine here. Darkcool trying his best to tank up here in the mid. Miss Betsy Ross fighting the Darkitect near the waterfall here as these teams are like coalescing around waterfall instead of the center point.
And they actually did get that stomp. One thing to notice, if you weren't able to see, is Darkcool is actually running staff this game instead of Dagger. That's why we've seen him just extremely tanky. They're finally going down now, but he's been alive for so long there in mid, and in that fight in Graveyard, he was just not going down. He's able to get a miss and get away right there, but he's been doing a fantastic job at just supporting, and even the damage. I mean, that Firestorm right there in that fight was doing tons of damage to blue team, but unfortunately,
well, it looks like blue team is taking back this waterfall point. Dark Coat was stomped, and Azuriel is in a lot of trouble. They neutralized the the Quarry as well, but it looks like they are managing to defend it against the blue team once again. Let me find if... Okay, who's here? Here we go. Put a team on my back in Horizon Skyfire fighting Chris the Holy for the Quarry. Meanwhile, up in the graveyard, the red team has contested, and there's no one there at all. And the major fight happening at the waterfall, though, Paquito and Melinu Sarai fighting Bessie Rotz and Azuriel for the point. Paquito is down and running into trouble. Here is the stomp going to work, and the stomp goes down on Paquito, and Paquito is down, leaving Melinu Sarai 1v2 here trying to fight for the waterfall. And it's May swing favor back into the red team as they're only 6 points behind now, and managing to 2v1 at the waterfall would be a nice advantage.
Yeah, red team should be able to get this capture point right here, and we'll give them a 2-point advantage. Really good Mesmer play by Miss Betsy Ross at Illusion of Life, keeping her teammates up. They were able to get that rally early on and just actually win that fight, secure the victory right there at Waterfall, and give them that 2-to-1 point advantage.
Dark Cool fighting 1v1 against the Darkitect in the midpoint. Darkitect doing his best to try to neutralize that, but it's not going to work out very well as long as Dark Cool is there without getting some help to knock him off that point. Azuriel in a lot of trouble, though. He's down. The Darkitect is going for the stomp. Paquito's here, too. Are they going to be able to interrupt the best form for Azuriel, getting him out of that situation? But there's still 2 from the blue team on top of him. Once again, going for the stomp, and the stomp is down to Azuriel, and now Dark Cool gets 4 of the blue team. Sorry, 3 of the blue team. And Dark Cool is running in a lot of trouble here as the Darkitect, and puts the team on my back. Hey, and now it's 4 from the blue team. 4 onto Dark Cool. They're doing their best to push for this midpoint. Dark Cool goes down, but Miss Betsy Ross and Sparther are here to try and save him. And down he goes to the stomp. Dark Cool is out of this fight as Miss Betsy Ross and Sparther are now left alone against 4 from the blue team, or is it 3 from the blue team? One of them looks to have left. Dark Cool, Paquito, and Skyfire here fighting for this point as best they can. Waterfall, Quarry, and this center point graveyard all in control of the red team. Waterfall finally being removed from that. Miss Betsy Ross is down and stealth, but today she's mainly being ignored here as the rest of the team tries to pick her up. Now it's a 4v4 situation in the center point as all of the resources are focused here. Melinda Shirai retaking that blue point, the waterfall here, with the main fight happening at the graveyard. This is where the action is. Whichever team can get the better of this fight is going to come out a little bit ahead, but we've got a huge lead for the red team right now, leading by about 80 points. Clearly, with the 2-to-1 point advantage, going to be very strong as they come up only 100 points from being in the position where Lord can bring them the win. But they're fighting their best for this situation here. Miss Betsy Ross is down. Once again, Sparther in a lot of trouble as well. He's very, very low. He's trying his best to stay up here, going for the revive on Miss Betsy Ross, but the stomp goes down, and she's not coming back up. Now Sparther is down and getting stomped by Horizon Skyfire, and down goes the stomp, down goes Sparther, and that leaves Chris the Holy here all alone in the point. Wait, Zuriel is back on him. Sorry about that. He is not all alone, but Zuriel is taking so much burst and having to misform almost immediately after showing up for the fight. And here comes the stomp from Horizon Skyfire, and down goes Zuriel. This fight going heavily into the favor of the blue team now as Chris the Holy is trying to fight 3v1 here on this midpoint here. Waterfall once again contested. Marlena Sarai fighting against Darkcool with almost full health. Darkcool in so much trouble here, just getting killed so very heavily, having to miss on that. But I don't think it's going to be enough for Darkcool. Both Paquito and Marlena Sarai going in for the kills. Stomp being avoided there rather closely, but he's going to go down anyways. Miss Betsy Ross fighting in the mid along with Chris the Holy against Horizons. Put a team on my back, and the Darkitect trying to get this point wrested away from the red team, but the red team is just so tanky and not giving it up.
And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier on in the game, is whoever controls this mid, it's going to be extremely hard for the other team to take it, because both teams are just extremely tanky, have all this sustain. And red team, I mean, they've had this point and they've been fighting here for about 2 minutes now, and they just have not lost it.
Miss Betsy Ross is stomped. Sparther is down. Azuriel is down as 2. This may be the chance the blue team needs to take this point back. And they're going for the kill on Sparther. He is down as well. Azuriel gets back up, but he's down once again. And here we go with the kill on Azuriel. That can give this middle point to the blue team, giving them the chance to come back to this. Although we are at 350 points for the red team, giving them the opportunity to go for the Guild Lord and take the win at any point they so desire. They don't need the points anymore if they can take that Guild Lord down. But blue team is having a good chance to come back here. They they've managed to take the graveyard after winning that fight very heavily there, but the tanks just continuously string tanking that point, preventing them to taking it till they got 3 kills at the very end of that fight there.
And we actually do have red team. Darkpool is trying to take out that side gate right there, followed by Chris the Holy. We might see them move to Lord right here, actually.
It seems like it's in their best interest. Now it's 2 points to 1. All they've got to do is take the guild war here. And down goes the gate. Darkpool and Chris the Holy are inside. Put the team on my back, doing his best to stop them out. The rest of the blue team is going to have to react to this pretty soon. We've got the quarry now being contested by the blue team. Who's taking that down there? Is that this Paquito down there and the blue team? Well, let's see what's going on with this Lord fight here. Oh, a lot from the red team are there. We've got Chris the Holy, Darkpool, and Azuriel, and Sparther all here. Put the team on back, and Melina Sarai trying their best to do it, but it's 4-on-2. If they manage to take down this guild lord pretty quickly here, they can win the match. They are down to 3 points to none, though, so if they're stopped, they're in a lot of trouble. But this guild war is taking so much damage. Azuriel is also taking damage, though. Put the team on back, doing his best to try and keep this fight alive, but no! The Guild Lord goes down, and the red team takes the win, going 1-1 in this best of 3, 524 points to 298, giving Murder Inc. this win, and we're going into the third match of this best of 3.
And we are going to be seeing our first match on Kylo right here, going 1-1. We are going to see that Treb play coming in, those tree buckets coming in right there, and it should be very interesting. This game was definitely not as close as the last one. With those long drawn-out fights, you know, red team was really able to hold mid for a very long time and just have that points just tick up in their favor for quite some time.
Absolutely. And we'll go into the introductory video for Kylo. Give us a chance to have some water as I talk about what the map is. Yes, that's right. We get to hear my voice some more. Here we go. Introduction to the Battle of Kylo. Battle of Kylo is one of the oldest SPVP maps and is a part of the competitive map rotation. Each map has its own mechanic in order to keep the format interesting. On this map, we have a trebuchet for both teams. The trebuchet is a powerful siege weapon that, when properly aimed, can fire large boulders at any of the 3 control points on the map. These trebuchet shots will deal enough damage to put even hardy warriors and necromancers into the down state within 2 shots. Once destroyed, however, the trebuchets are put out of use until a team makes the lengthy trip of running a repair kit to fix it. One of the more common terminologies you will run into will be team rotations. Often, in order to stay on point, a player will be using very strong utilities that carry the drawback of being on longer cooldowns. In order to help compensate for this, teams will rotate out players that have the role of defending points to make sure their defender is healthy and adequately equipped to stall enough time for their team to arrive in case of ambush. In the Battle of Kylo especially, team mobility and rotations are key, as you essentially lose a team member when you want to keep the trebuchet manned, and need to be able to assist allies trying to hold points being bombarded by the enemy trebuchet. The Battle of Kylo, the big point on there, of course, being the trebuchets.
Absolutely, and just to clarify, you know, Dark Cool was destroying with that staff last game, or at least doing extremely well, staying alive. That wasn't an accident. That was lag. You know, they had it for the speed buff in the beginning, and I guess lagged out and wasn't able to switch back. So that stuff alley was a bit of an accident, but they did fantastic with it. So that was actually really cool to see right there.
Well, it actually worked out fairly well for them. They did win the match, so hey, it worked out. So this is all going to decide this best of 3 between Murder Inc. and Not Sure If Serious. The winner of this will move on to the quarterfinals, and the other team is out of the tournament. Remember, once again, this is Filibuster Fox, joined today by Sean Android Buell, and we are presenting the Tower Dive TV /SOAC weekly tournament. This will happen every week. This is the first of a long series of these, so be sure to tune in every Sunday for more.
And yeah, they are correct. The score is 1-1 right now. If we could get that updated on the overlay, so new players.
Very much.
aren't confused.
Here we go, 1-1. The winner of this, of course, takes the victory. Man.
So in this, yeah, if they're, I mean, both teams are running fairly tanky. If they are able to, you know, get that treb going off, it's going to change the fights a lot. I mean, you could be tanky or not, those trebs are going to destroy you. So hopefully we do see a little bit of trebuchet play in here, and not just those extremely tanky fights in there.
It'll be a nice mix of things. The trebuchets will do a lot in turning the tides of these tanky versus tanky fights. So it'll be very interesting to see how these teams end up doing that. And here we go. Out the gates they go. Let's look at the split. We've got one going to the windmill, two going down towards the clock tower, and no one going for the trebuchet for the red team. And no one going for the trebuchet for the blue team either, going right into the clock tower and the mansion here. Let's go ahead right to the clock tower and see the action as it happens here. Blue team is the first on the point here. Are they going to be able to take it before red team can get on there? That would be fantastic for them, but it doesn't seem likely. One from the red team right there being knocked away from the point. Looks like they might actually be able to take the clock tower before the red team can get on there. No, but Betsy Ross gets on there just in time. And here's Dark Cool as well getting into this fight. The Architect and put the team on my back, fighting them off. Here comes Paquito to fight this. Both teams have taken their respective points. The windmill already contested by the blue team. The mansion as of yet uncontested. Once again, we see the blue team going for the far points more often than we see the red team doing it. And just a slight point lead for the red team, just by a second or so. One extra point here as they go along. But this fight for the midpoint is going to be decisive here. Neither team yet has gone for their own trebuchet, and we'll see how that ends up going. Oh, and down goes Dark Cool. He's running into trouble here. He should have enough sustain to be able to get back up into this fight. And yeah, so there, of course, there he is back up in the fight. Now Miss Betsy Ross is the one in trouble. She's down and just off the edge there as the blue team is trying to go for the kill. But no, back up once again, and this is going to be a continued drawn-out fight. Blue team managed to pick up the point during it, though, knocking everyone off the point. And being able to take this point going to be huge for them if they hold this as long as possible. Miss Betsy Ross now in a lot of trouble. Dark Cool is down and being forced, trying to get back up. But here's Spartan to try and turn this fight once again. Dark Cool still down and trying to revive.
And Paquito did get stomped right there, did get the rally over onto red team, which is going to help them a lot right here, but red team is going down as well.
Yeah, Betsy Ross and Dark Cool have both been stomped down. Sparther and Azuriel both fighting against three of the blue team here. Horizon's taking a lot of damage here, but Azuriel is down, and that's going to leave Sparther the only remaining standing member here, unless Azuriel can get back up here shortly. And we'll see that getting knocked around constantly off the point. Azuriel is down. Sparther is off the point. There goes the stop on Azuriel. Here comes Chris the Holy to continue. But this point is still held by the blue team, giving them a dominating point lead here as they continue to control this point, and it is not going into contestant.
And blue team does have the 2-to-1 point advantage right there. If they're able to hold this, they're really going to see a lead in points. Red team does still have their trebuchet up. No one's went to it on either team yet. So if someone were to jump on that and start pumping some shots into mid, it would help red team out a lot right now.
And blue team did just repair their trebuchet, but Dark Cool is there along with Melina Sarai. Dark Cool's there trying to either get a kill or just knock Melina Sarai off the edge and go right for killing the trebuchet. Horizon Skyfire now coming to fight Dark Cool to defend it. Is he going to be able to defend this trebuchet at all? We will see very shortly here. No sign of Melina Sarai coming back. Having a look at the clock tower really fast to see what's going on in there. Sparther and Chris the Holy fighting, put the team on my back and the Dark Attack for this, but here comes Miss Betsy Ross giving them 3-2 advantage here to try and neutralize this point. Red team 75 points behind the blue team here as the blue team has continued having this 2-to-1 point advantage. They really need to take the clock tower away for this or go for that mansion here. The wall knocked out by the red team trebuchet as Paquito is trying to fight Azuriel for it, getting knocked away. The trebuchet still stands. Meanwhile, the blue team trebuchet is dead here. We'll go back to this midpoint here. Dark Attack very, very low here, trying to sustain and stay in his bubble to stay alive. But all the knockouts of this from the blue team constantly being able to hold this point by knocking the red team out of it. And that's being big, and that's why they took it earlier, and that's why they're continuing to hold this point despite being outnumbered, is these knockbacks that they're doing to keep this point in their favor. Oh, Dark Attack goes down, but so... Oh, Chris the Holy getting back with just a sliver of health. Dark Attack is back up once again as they continue to hold this midpoint, now 100 points ahead. The longer this goes on, the worse it is for the red team. There's no get out of jail free card lord where you can get 150 points in this. It's all about holding the points here.
And red team, they were outnumbering blue by 4-2 right there. They actually just messed up on that stomp. Everyone was trying to stomp. No one was actually DPSing the body. And blue was able to get back up right there and keep it secured for at least a little bit longer.
It looks like the Dark Architect is going down once again, but both teams are having a lot of trouble here. Oh, the stomp not working from the Dark Architect from Darkcool. It was a nice attempt there, but not quite enough to take down the Dark Architect as he builds a tower of despair in the center of the clock tower here. And down he goes again, though. Crystal Holy down as well. Two of the tanky guys on the other team going down. The Stomps attempting to go down. Dark Architect is stomped! And rally happening, and Chris is back into the fight once again. This may turn the momentum back into favor of the blue team as Horizon is taking a lot of damage, trying to miss around the center point, preventing the red team from taking it back, but no, it's neutralized, but they take the windmill, keeping the 2-1 point advantage in favor of the blue team as they come up to the 300 points with a 140 point lead here, but it looks like they are going to lose the clock tower to the strong efforts of this team fight from the red team.
Yeah, blue just doing a fantastic job right now as far as point control goes. I mean, Paquito was able to come to windmill too, knock Chris off. They're able to keep the point. Red team does have 2 here now, so they will be able to take it. Blue is just going to leave that right there. Maybe go back to mid and try and get that mid back.
Blue team does have a bit of a point lead leeway to work with here to try to get one of these points neutralized. Once again, the Dark Attack in this middle point is constantly holding it as best as he can, trying to knock these guys off there, just like he did just then, and hold this point and get it neutralized at least so his team continues to have that huge lead that they have. If they... knocked off quite nicely there, but Darkcool coming back just in time to prevent it from being neutralized. Horizon Skyfire now here to help. Oh, it's neutralized! 1 point for each team once again. As going to continue to keep this point lead for not sure if serious here. As this major team fight in the center point is happening once again. Both teams controlling their close point still. And not a whole lot of action from these trebuchets as... that's not the trebuchets. Cam... Nope, both trebuchets are down. Missourial is down in the midpoint. Here comes the stomp from the Dark Architect. Not going to work as the Mistform comes right up. Miss Betsy Ross very low, about to go down herself, and down she goes. Azuriel and Miss Betsy Ross both down. Looks like blue team's got the stomp on Azuriel, going for the stomp on Miss Betsy Ross, and here it comes. Down goes Miss Betsy Ross. That leaves Darkcool all alone to try to contest this point against 3 of the blue team. But is it going to be enough? I doubt it very much. Darkcool is running into a lot of knockback. And if they can keep him off the point, they might be able to get this 2-1 point advantage. Not that they need it. If they keep 1 point to 1 point, they can win this fight. But off he goes. Looks like blue team is going to be able to take the point unless Darkcool can get on there with a mist hit. He does. Gets on there just in time, but they're all there to stomp him after he does that. Just delaying it just a bit with that glorious mist to slow it, but that did not save him from the stomp. And unfortunately, that gives a 2-point lead advantage once again to the blue team, who's at 400 points now. Mansion is contested by Azuriel, but here comes Paquito to try and fight it back. It is neutralized, but they still only have 100 points to go. As long as they can hold on to at least one of those points, and if they can get that 2-1 advantage again, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, blue team was able to get an early lead, and then they've been almost 1-1 for about the last... 4 minutes here. Every time they get 2 points, someone's able to cap something. So it's been very interesting. The team fights are kind of moving all over the map, mostly staying mid, but now we have this huge team fight happening in Mansion.
Absolutely,
right now.
And down goes Azuriel in a lot of trouble here once again. Probably going to miss away from this if it's off cooldown. There it goes. There goes the missed away. Hey, a trebuchet shot coming in. Looks like the blue team coming in with some fire support from Lena Sarai here. And that's going to be a lot of trouble for the red team as they are focused up in this point. Miss Betsy Ross is now down. Looks like Azuriel is dead. And that's going to be a well-fought fight for the blue team here. Midpoint is once again contested there. And looks like Sparther is down. Miss Betsy Ross is down. And it looks like blue is going to clean up this mansion point and be able to retake it here. Meanwhile, in the mid, Dark Architect versus Darkcool as they keep this neutral. But all blue team needs is 1 point and holding it. They've got the mansion. And they're 2v1 in this middle point with support from the Trebuchet. Darkcool is going to have a lot of trouble here, but they've only got 60 points to go.
And he actually did get that dodge right there, and he is getting a little bit of backup right now. So they might have a little bit of a chance to get this point right here. If that Treb does get taken down, I actually don't see it firing right now. I know there's someone on there. Oh, there we go, right there.
Azuriel was taken down in that fight, though, and now he's dead. Azuriel being so very squishy in these team fights, dying so very quickly when he takes the bit of damage. Down goes Darkcool. Nice trebuchet shot coming in. The point's coming back. They don't need to stomp Dark Cool. They just have to hold the point. Dark Cadet cannot leave this point. He's got to knock off anyone trying to contest it. Now they only need 25 points to win, getting another kill on Dark Cool there. And Sparther, that leaves them 15 points to go. It does not look good for the red team, as only 13 points to go for the blue team. They did manage to neutralize the mansion, but only 10 points to go unless they can neutralize this point, which is constantly being bombarded by the blue trebuchet and held by the Dark Attack. It's going to be a victory in just a few short seconds here for the blue team, as they're going to take the best of 3 here with 4 points left to go. 3, 2, well, 2 now, I guess. I'm a little ahead of myself, but 1 point left to go, and they're going to take the win right now. 500 points to 311 points. That's for not sure if Sirius going to take the second win and move on in the tournament, winning 2-1 in this best of 3.
The blue team was able to take that out. A very good game right there. We had that close first game on Niffle. We did have Red come back and do an amazing play on Legacy of the Foe Fire. And then blue team was able to dominate the third game here on Battle of Kylo.